The discovery of Homo Naledi in the deep dark chambers of the Rising Star cave system presented a profound puzzle to paleoanthropology. When the first images surfaced, many leaped to a romantic, revolutionary conclusion. Ancient, small-brained hominins were deliberately burying their dead. That narrative suggested complexity of thought, a dawning spiritual awareness that would rewrite human evolution. But a sober, critical look at the evidence points toward a more tragic, more plausible explanation. The Rising Star caves were not a place of ritual, but a natural, inescapable trap that claimed lives again and again. The bones tell a story not of ceremony, confusion, struggle, survival gone terribly wrong. The entrapment hypothesis does not diminish Homo Naledi. It grounds interpretations in the cave's physical realities and the species' biological constraints. The allure of finding human-like complexity is strong. Science demands we resist that temptation and follow the evidence, even if it's less poetic. The truth is likely written not in symbolic gestures, but in the brutal calculus of survival in a perilous environment. A cave that did not receive the dead, but took the living. The fundamental claim is simple. Accumulation of remains equals accidental death, not intentional disposal. This view rests on key factors: cognitive limitations of a small-brained hominin, the treacherous, disorienting nature of the cave, logistical impossibilities of carrying bodies, and the conspicuous absence of definitive cultural artifacts. Each piece of evidence, viewed with pragmatic skepticism, chips away at the burial hypothesis, leaving entrapment as the most logical, parsimonious explanation for the silent gathering of bones. This is not merely academic. How we interpret these remains shapes our narrative of human becoming. Assigning ritual where there is none risks projection. It is a tale of caution. Consider a mass casualty site repeated over generations, where a single misstep in the dark could mean a final, lonely end. The bones, tell that tragic tale. At the very heart of this debate lies the brain of Homo Naledi itself. The cranial capacity was remarkably small, about 465 to 610 cubic centimeters, roughly 1/3 of a modern human, more comparable to an Australopithecine. This is not a judgment on intelligence, but a critical constraint on behaviors we can attribute. Complex symbolic thought, abstract concepts about death, the afterlife, and ritualized burial is tied to expansion in neural structures, especially the prefrontal cortex. There is no evidence Homo Naledi had that neurological hardware. Imagining multi-generational burial is an extraordinary leap of faith. Such behavior requires a concept of death's finality, shared cultural understanding, a system of communication to pass down the ritual, and the ability to plan and coordinate complex, non-essential activity. Their mental world likely focused on the immediate, finding food, avoiding predators, seeking shelter, navigating their social group. More probable response to a dead compatriot, avoidance or abandonment, not a dangerous journey into a pitch-black labyrinth. What does a burial ritual entail? Not just disposing of a body. A symbolic act freighted with meaning, belief, a way of ordering the world and one's place within it. Projecting these neurologically demanding concepts onto an ape-sized brain is anthropomorphism. We are seeing ourselves in the past. The physical characteristics of the Rising Star cave system provide one of the most compelling arguments against the intentional burial hypothesis. This is not a simple cavern with an easily accessible burial chamber. It is a tortuous, three-dimensional maze of extreme complexity. The journey to the Naledi chamber involves navigating tight squeezes, narrow passages and steep drops in absolute darkness. One section, the chute, is a vertical drop of nearly 12 meters, with sections so narrow that only very slender individuals can pass. Another constriction is a mere 18 centimeters wide. Imagine being a Homo Naledi without the benefit of ropes, headlamps, a detailed map. The darkness would have been absolute. Every step would be fraught with peril. The risk of getting lost, wedged or falling would be immense for an individual exploring alone. Now add the task of transporting a limp, inert body weighing 40 to 55 kilograms. The logistical challenge becomes nearly insurmountable. It would require multiple individuals working in concert, in a space that barely allows one to pass, all while operating in complete blackness. The very structure of the cave suggests it functions as a natural trap. The vertical drops and narrow passages act as a one-way filter. It is far easier to slip and fall into deeper sections than it is to climb back out. The idea that these treacherous passages were used repeatedly over generations to deposit bodies defies logic. Why choose the most difficult, dangerous and inaccessible location imaginable for a cemetery? If the goal was disposal, countless easier options exist on the surface. The extreme difficulty is not dedication. It is a formidable natural barrier, a place easy to enter by accident, nearly impossible to leave. The cave itself is the antagonist. If the cave was so dangerous, why enter? The answer requires no rituals, just universal drives, the search for resources and refuge. Caves near their entrances offer shade, shelter from rain, defensible positions against predators. Small groups may have used upper accessible parts temporarily. Water sounds and scents, small prey and other cave-dwelling creatures could draw them deeper. Curiosity, especially among the young, is a powerful driver. A slip seeking water, a foraging party disoriented in winding passages, a group sheltering from a storm, unable to relocate the entrance. Mundane, tragic accidents consistent with a small-brained hominin. The entrapment model allows multiple independent events over a long period. Not a single unified cultural practice. Over millennia, many individuals and small groups, for many reasons, could have met their end within the cave's depths, accumulating in its most inaccessible chambers. Once trapped, fate was sealed. Falls down features like the chute mean broken bones, concussion, immobilizing injuries. Even uninjured, they faced no food, no water, no light. Psychological terror overwhelming in absolute darkness. The fossils are remarkably preserved, yet not arranged. Bodies likely fell where they fell, or huddled in final moments for warmth and comfort, leading to commingled skeletons misread as burial. Final positions reflect exhaustion and despair, not reverent placement. They died where their struggle ended. Death here was slow and agonizing. Dehydration within days, starvation, body heat sapped by cold, damp floors, hypothermia closing in. They were found so deep because they could not climb out. The cave became their tomb, not by choice, but by necessity, trapped in life, held to the end. This narrative of entrapment and slow death is grim, but it aligns with the physical evidence. Multiple individuals, deep inaccessible chambers, no escape route, injury, thirst, starvation and fear. The final act in the Naledi chamber was not a ceremony, but a lonely, quiet fading away in the eternal night of the cave. One of the most powerful, straightforward pieces of evidence is what is not found with the bones, anything else. Across cultures and deep time, intentional burials often include tools, symbolic goods, offerings, pigments like red ochre. In Rising Star, amid hundreds of fossils, such evidence is conspicuously absent. Sediment was meticulously screened. No tools in clear association, no carved bones, no adornments, no pigment. Only a few rodent bones and an owl. The chambers contain Homo Naledi, and only Homo Naledi. That stark absence clashes with burial tradition. If bodies were carried into this perilous labyrinth, it implies profound importance. So why no simple tokens, a favourite nutstone, a sharpened stick, a handful of coloured earth? The simplest explanation, per Occam's razor, is no ceremony. The scene is clean of cultural artefacts because it was a natural event, not a cultural one. Let us move beyond the why and focus on the how. A dead weight, near 50 kilograms, through an inconspicuous entrance, into pitch black, with no fire, no torches, no artificial light. Imagine your basement during a blackout. Now imagine an unfamiliar cave with vertical drops and passages so tight you must turn sideways. How do you coordinate movement? How do you communicate in echoing blackness? How do you pass a body through an 18-centimetre constriction? And then the 12-metre vertical chute. Without ropes, it means dropping, hardly reverent. If not, climbing down while managing the corpse borders on impossible, even for modern equipped cavers. This nightmare must be repeated for each individual, and, if over generations, the precise route remembered and retraced again and again. That requires spatial memory, planning, and cultural transmission difficult to attribute to Homo Naledi's cognitive profile. The sheer physical difficulty, lack of light and equipment, makes intentional burial a fantasy of logistics, a puzzle whose pieces do not fit. The cave was not where they carried their dead to, it was where they could not carry themselves out of. Even if a body comes to rest in a deep chamber, its journey is not over. The final arrangement reflects taphonomy, what happens after death. Nature is not a static curator. Over millennia, geological and biological forces shift, move, and rearrange remains, creating patterns easy to misread. Water, even intermittent, can gently transport and sort bones across vast timescales. Lighter elements, hands, feet, travel farther, heavier, skulls, femurs, remain nearer. Apparent order can emerge from chaos. Chamber floors aren't flat. Bodies slump, disarticulate, and bones roll down slope into low points, mimicking deliberate mass graves. Physics, not culture. Small scavengers, insects, bacteria, fungi accelerate decomposition and disarticulation, even where large predators cannot reach. Excellent preservation indicates shelter from weathering, but does not imply the remains were untouched. The final fossil arrangement is a complex signature written by death, gravity, water, and time, not necessarily the hand of a mourner. The story of Homo Naledi and the Rising Star Cave is captivating. The temptation to see ritual is understandable. It makes the deep past feel closer. But the evidence calls for caution. The intentional burial theory is romantic, yet faces serious problems. Cognitive limits, extreme cave difficulty, a logistical nightmare, and a complete lack of associated cultural artifacts. The entrapment hypothesis offers a simpler, more powerful explanation. It requires no speculation about inner thoughts. It rests on known anatomy, treacherous cave geography, and universal drives for survival. Individuals likely entered seeking shelter, water, or food, then fell victim to the labyrinth, became lost or injured, couldn't escape the darkness, and perished. The cave was not a cemetery, it was a trap. This doesn't diminish Homo Naledi. It shows a species fighting to survive in a dangerous world, not proto-philosophers, but real beings whose lives were cut short by mundane accident. There is profound, relatable humanity in that loss, a reminder that life was fragile and death ever-present. The rising star bones stand as a monument to that struggle. The enigma teaches scientific humility. We must avoid projecting our realities onto the deep past. Let the bones and stones speak. Be willing to accept the simplest explanation. The evidence points not to ritual, but to a dark, tragic end. The truth is less about their ideas of death, and more about how they fought for life, to their final, quiet moments in the cold, unforgiving dark.